What's up, people? One Nut Punch here. So I picked up this game called USC Counterforce on Steam for about $20, and it might have a sale, I'm not sure, but I wanted to show off the settings and how the game looks because I'll say it is quite literally a cluster, and there's just so much stuff to look at, and we'll get into the game and I'll show you how the UI works on there. But this is all the settings from the graphics to the audio, and then of course the main menu, which would show single mission, operations, defend base, and campaign, and some other different settings on there too. So if you're ever trying to figure out how this game is going to be like, essentially it's going to be a lot of reading, a lot of trying to figure out what stuff's going on and where stuff is going to be, because the main things I'm going to talk about is the combat and how the missions kind of work, as well as the weapons loadout, because every single time I've gone and done a mission, though you can save the loadout, you have to go in and you have to equip all of the units that you have. And you can go 4 or you can go 6 squads. And then you can go into these different missions and operations that are like, I guess, pre-made. They have different ones. You have escort, you have sabotage. There are other ones to where you have to go and clear out a bunch of like aliens in a nest. And then you have the loadouts here. The loadouts are essentially going into each individual person and giving them equipment, giving them unit specs, which is essentially their stats. You can give them agility, endurance, melee expertise. You can give them field expertise, marksmanship, and so on. But you have to give them a gun before you start the mission. And they have different ones, and you'll get these stars, which is essentially the currency in the game, to be able to get those things. This is combat. Now, there are a couple of things about combat I'm going to talk about first. The main thing is I wish the developers would allow you to have the camera on, which I'm going to talk about later, and that is a first-person view of your character looking in his field of view around him. So, you know how Ready or Not has a camera-to-camera, to where it has a camera on the small screen, and you see what your character's looking at, or AI party members looking at? Think of it like that, except the point of view is your actual character looking at things. So, when you click on your character, there'll be a green screen that pops up. And when they move around, they'll see whatever is in front of them. As you can see here, that green screen is what they see in first person. And that is the main reason why I got this. Every turn you go off of action points, which is the green bar down below. And then you have your hot bar, which is ammunition. You have a melee weapon. You have ammo, which is 2 stacks. And then after that, you have equipment and inventory slots for other things. Med kits, quick hacks, and so on. And then you also have a toggle on the right-hand side of the screen where you have 3 different modes of activation for your gun, your primary gun, as well as secondary. Then you have defend and a couple of other things. Those are the only things you should worry about is your gun, the activation, what it does, and then defend. Everything else after that is just like, you'll learn in the tutorial as you go on. But when you go and equip a gun, you have to click on it, and that's a right click, and then you have to reload it by right-clicking the ammo. Sometimes, or you can go to the reload button on the right hand side of the screen where the gun is. And each turn, you go and do these different actions. Each turn you do these actions, you're only going to have a specific amount of AP to do it. And then on the right hand side of the screen where you have your weapon, you have numbers above those tabs that have the specific amount of action points you need to use it. And that depends upon what you're using. Shotguns are pretty standard. They only use like anything between 5 to maybe 12 action points per shot using single double barrel. Grenade launchers are about 16 to 20, and then assault rifles are like 4 to 7, short burst and full burst. Then you have laser rifle, which is like, I think 12 and then maybe 24. It really depends upon the gun because they have all different things. Like for example, I did not know that you need energy cells in order to use a plasma sword and a plasma riot shield. So instead, I gave my guy a normal axe and a normal riot shield, and he murdered a Reaper, which is essentially a giant alien that is huge, and he hits hard, and he also does knockback. So it was also kind of crazy to see him tank a bunch of damage while then getting blown up by a grenade by my own teammate, because there's friendly fire in this as well. You can throw a grenade and kill your teammate. You could shoot a grenade launcher and kill your teammates. You could actually shoot your flamethrower, or what they call disperse, hit the ground underneath them, and then light it up, and it explodes, killing everybody around them. I wanted to go back into the weapons loadout a little bit because I didn't show it off earlier. There are weapons that you do not have that you have to unlock later, and I don't know if that's through questing or getting different currencies. However, you do have a bunch of weapons you can choose from. You have different rifles and some machine guns, assault rifles and sniper rifles, energy weapons, shotguns, grenade launchers, flamethrowers, whole 9 yards, bunch of different stuff. And then you have the equipment, you have the armor, you have med kits, you have a bunch of different first aid kits, bandages, quick hacks, many different tools you need, and you could all equip that onto your character, depending upon how much currency you have. And if you go over that, you go in the negative, and the mission cannot start until you go back up to the positive. So watch out when you're making up different characters and doing different loadouts, because if you do too much, you won't be able to go anywhere. So, like I said earlier, when it comes down to the different weapons, they have their own types of alt fires and primary fires. The assault rifle has a short burst and then a full burst where it shoots in an area. The SMG has I think it's double burst and then a triple fire. And then you have like the sniper rifle that does penetration, laser that does disintegration and scorch, and some other things. But the other thing I didn't really mess with that much was the other tools, like trying to get rid of the anti-rad, or dealing with freezing, or trying to equip all my characters with armor, which a lot of them wouldn't do well with. For example, if I tried to have somebody with high agility and endurance, their movement would be cut down and they wouldn't be able to run as much, or they wouldn't be able to dodge from getting hit by attacks, like the alien would try to chomp on them, or they'd shoot like this green ball at them, and then it would hit them and do like area damage. That being said, I wanted to show this off because essentially what I said earlier was pretty true and spot on. When you're looking at the screen, there's a lot to look at. It's not just like, oh, you have a bunch of words and numbers and letters and a bunch of other things. The buttons, too, you don't know really where to go or what to do. I'm not saying the game is bad or anything. I'm just saying that to some people, or most of the people that I've witnessed when it comes down to early access games, trying to show them a bunch of stuff to try to like read or try to squint their eyes and like look at it when the UI is too small, they're not going to buy it and they're not going to really play it a bunch. The only reason why I'm playing is because I like the whole concept of it, going on there and having your different tactics, having your characters look at the enemies and shoot at them at first person. The only thing I wish they would kept is the camera when the enemy is about to attack you. That's the only thing I don't like about it, is that why can't I see my character not get devoured by an alien, but only when it's his turn? Why can't I see it when it's on their turn? Or like my character getting blown up by a grenade or lit on fire by a flamethrower. Like, I wish the camera was on frequently, or what they could have done, like Ready or Not. You can go into the settings and change the camera and make it more frequent and have it like happen on enemy turns. That would be a nice touch too. The game is coming out May 20th, 2024, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be $20. Personally, I cannot say if it's a buy or a not buy. It's difficult to say right now because for me, it felt more like a niche, like it was my kind of thing. I wanted something different, something kind of difficult, and give me more time to just like mess with it. And when I got into this game and I started playing more and more and more, I started liking it more and more. At first, I hated it. I didn't like it at all. I was like, what the hell am I looking at? I don't know what to do. There's so much reading. And then one day I just sat down for about 3 hours and just played it, understood it, and I'm like, hell, it's actually a fun game. That being said, the game is $12 currently on sale, and I think it's like 48 hours left. But anything after that, I think is $20. In conclusion of what I think about USC Counterforce, if you're into games like this where it's like tactics and it progressively gets harder, and you don't mind losing characters, like permadeathing them or having to go and do a bunch of loadouts and stuff, I'd recommend playing this game or at least giving it a shot. I bought it. I've been kind of playing more on and off. And I mean, I'm trying other things too right now, like making videos and so on for that stuff. Like I only just picked up Rogue Voltage today. Not the demo, the full game, because I wanted to see all the different types of generators and stuff on there. But that being said, I've been One Nut Punch, and this has been another video. Thanks for watching as per usual, and like I said beforehand, USC Counterforce is not a bad game. And for me personally, I think it's more of a niche type of title. And a lot of people might not like it, but then again, if I'm wrong and more people do like it simply because they watch a video of it, or that maybe have this like desire to just try it because it's new, definitely recommend trying it out at least. It is a difficult game, it progressively gets harder, and the aliens get tougher. But anyway, I've been One Nut Punch. I'll see you later in the next one.